Hello, hello, ladies, gents, Piotr here, Liteforex Global YouTube channel, and we are about to prepare ourselves from the trading plan perspective for the upcoming New York session. Yesterday, ADP, very positive. Takeaway from the Trump speech, very positive. Of course, we might say that well, the market takeaway is like the Iran revenge was the one and done, but we already had today a few comments in that regard. For example, Iranian commander Hajizadeh says missile strikes aim was not to kill US troops. And you remember yesterday Trump was so proud that none of the US soldiers died during the missile strikes. The main target was to damage America's military machine. He also said that appropriate revenge to the General Soleimani's killing is to expel US troops from region. And also he said that missile attacks on US targets started operation that will continue across the region. But, well, President Trump said yesterday that, well, it was one and done, and anyway, well, that's the main thing right here from the market perspective. The Iran, the trade war with China, we are waiting for some first phase sign deal next week, so we will get back to the China probably, right? Then ADP ahead of the non-farm payrolls tomorrow. ADP was very good today. Today weekly jobless claims good as well. 214,000, estimation was 220, previous revised 223. So it's quite positive for the dollar ahead of the payrolls tomorrow. So the dollar overall continue march to the upside. So let's have a look from the chart perspective what we have here. Let's start with the yen crosses, because as you can see, I've mentioned yesterday about the Aussie yen, and the first part been filled. I'm still waiting for something more to be filled on the Aussie yen. Unfortunately, it started to look like inverted head and shoulders, something similar to inverted head and shoulder. So I have to be very, very, very cautious and careful here. So I'm going to monitor. Well, I've been short, if you remember, I've been short dollar yen yesterday. Unfortunately, it's not always Tuesday with the 5R on cable. I've been stopped out, and if you remember what we discussed, that if we are going to get back on the dollar yen, if we are going to get back above this broken trend line, right? There is a chance market will try to hit more stops towards 110, basically taking into the consideration that we had some stops to the downside, right? So if that was the consolidation like this, right? So there was a stop hunt to the downside, so it's time to at least look for stops to the upside, so levels above 109.70 towards 110. So in that case, I'm waiting patiently here. Unfortunately, because with this strategy, it was worth to wait towards the end of the day yesterday to get that close back above this rising trend line confirmed, right? Unfortunately, we haven't seen any kind of the pullback yet, at least. Well, nothing for me from the long side, but there is a chance that this comment from the Iranian side, we are going to get some bump on the road, and we might see a little bit of the pullback. So the key here, in my opinion, when we are talking about the dollar yen, the key here is daily open, right? It also represents 50% of that pre-break to the upside consolidation. So the levels close to levels between 109.20, 109, that's what I'm gonna to look for, because what we have, if you remember the webinar in regards to the possible supply demand zones, we have Riley, base and continuation, right? So right now we have to see the pullback into that consolidation to confirm that, and further Riley from here. In case of the market will go lower, right, will not respect the daily open and market will go lower, that's gonna be the first sign that the bulls are well, might be in a danger. But we have another possible consolidation a little bit lower. Yes, the breakout we've seen yesterday, so in that case 108.65 ish levels. So that's where we saw the break above this latest weakness, right? So two levels, something between 109.20, 109 from the bulls perspective, and again something around 108.70, but in that case you want to see quick rally back above daily open, right? Bears in that case, well, bears in that case first waiting for the stop count, right? The things are visible here, so we are waiting for some kind of the stop count. All right, that's the first thing first. In case we are not gonna to get that high, but we are going to start to react to the downside, right? The daily close below 109, 108.70 is needed, right, to renew the pressure to the downside. All right, so that's how I see the things. As of now, bulls are in a better shape here right now ahead of the non-farm payrolls tomorrow. Let's go further. When we are talking about the dollar, let's talk about the euro dollar, because finally we are testing some kind of the demand zone. It's gonna be very interesting from the euro dollar perspective ahead of the payrolls tomorrow. Let's switch to the daily chart for a second. And the thing is that if we are going to take into the consideration this pre-breakout, that's consolidation, pre-breakout consolidation, right? So looks like, and we discussed it already, looks like that was the failure, right? The latest chance of this pre-breakout is the 50% of that consolidation retest, right? In that case, we also have very positive thing here, because we also have some kind of the possible demand zone, as well as 1-to-1 correction, and market is trying to get back above the daily open after the first retest. I think that we might see during the New York session somewhere closer to the US cash open or even London fixing, we might see retest of that level. All right, so that's from the bulls perspective. If you are a bullish, then those are the levels, these are the levels to try to fight with, and the first target is at least blue dotted line retest of the weekly open. Don't forget non-farm payrolls tomorrow. On the other hand, if you are a bear, right, so again this consolidation might be taken into the consideration. Then what we've seen here, it was the failure, right? So if you remember over under strategy, also I'm going to prepare in the short video in the near future. By the way, hopefully you like it, today's video introduction to the swing trading, right? If you haven't seen yet, please check archive section in the Liteforex Global YouTube section. So over under, so the bears have to be patient right here, right now, and I would watch very carefully those two shadows we've seen here, right? Because when we are going to connect, make as a trend line, right? So here we might see retest over the course of the day today, maybe tomorrow after the payrolls, but we wanna see upper shadow and close below to get the confirmation, and then we can start to look for selling opportunity. So we are as a bears, we are waiting for 1150, 1160 to be tested. So that's the plan A and plan B for euro dollar, for bulls and bears. Now cable, very interesting situation. Because the cable joined the party we've seen on euro dollar the other day, meaning that we went below the weekly open, the blue dotted line. Also meaning that we broke very important and significant level, this consolidation here, right? Which, as you can see here, been trying to hold the market for a while, quite a few times. Now the breakdown, right? So looks like the cable wants to go lower. Of course, psychological 130 level and the consolidation we've seen here with the break to the upside, right? It has not been tested quite yet. Right, so I think that we are about to see new low for the day on the cable. So what I'm looking for is retest of 3060, 3080 and continuation to the downside. And today's the target for me is 130, right? 130. But overall, if the market is going to be able to get below 130, look what we have on the daily chart, right? Check this move to the downside. We haven't seen any positive day, right? So with this rally to the upside, to be honest with you, we haven't heard strong selling hands. We haven't heard strong selling hands, right? So maybe market is going to make 1-to-1 and is opening 2650. Well, sounds crazy for now, but that's how it looks based on this 101, especially with today's price action and with this move below the weekly open. The only solution for bulls I see here is to retest this 130 during the US session, but to have a daily close back above the weekly open. That would suggest that was nothing else, just the stop count, right? So we had something similar like on euro dollar, this 1-to-1, all right? And market will try to make another leg higher from here, retesting 3350 level, all right? So very interesting situation on the cable. So 130 psychological level. Let's have a look what's going to happen around there. So we have plan A and plan B. So depends if you are a bull or bear. That's the levels, that's the zones you have to be careful about, and you have to look at those levels. Now oil. Well, the President Trump words yesterday at the fuel into the selling pressure, right? That the US has enough oil, enough reserve. They don't have to be dependent on the other countries, especially on they are producing enough at home. Selling pressure, right? We moved below 60, and that's the significant development on the oil. Well, I've been trying to sell that one, right? But either I missed or I had a small stop. Anyway, how I see the things on the oil, huge outside day yesterday, right? So from where we went higher, that's my question. We went higher from here, from the levels close to 61.50, right? That's the latest 61.40, 61.50, 62 zone based on my chart over here, right? So I'm looking for the rally back towards these levels, right? And eventually, finally, full move to the downside. Are we going to get that reverse today? Hopefully not, because we have to also break the trend line, right? And then make retest, right? So I want to see, yes, without me, okay, I can handle it. I want to see lower levels, trend line break, retest. I'm gonna to join that party with the retest, right? And going lower, even lower, okay? So, well, it could work that way unless we are going to witness some significant new developments in Iran, right? And in that region. So overall, from the oil perspective, I'm bearish, but I'm not gonna be surprised based on the trend line I've shown you that we are going to see some kind of the attempt to reverse the price around here. So that's the oil. And finally, S&P 500. Let's see them going higher. Okay, that's going to be good. I want to see the failure. I'm bearish. 3,280, 3,290 base on my chart. No change in my view. First target on S&P, it's going to be 3,244. So that's it, guys. If necessary, I'm going to make an update this evening. Don't be trapped. All the best and see you around, guys.